The sea has its secrets, deep, dark secrets, hidden beneath the waves, whispered on the wind. They speak of things best left undisturbed, of shadows that move beneath the surface, of lights that beckon only to betray. This is a story of those lights, the ones that stand sentinel along the coast, warning sailors of danger. But some lights, they say, hold a different kind of warning. These are the phantom lighthouses, the ones that guard the shore with secrets and sorrow. They call them the lights that guard the shore, and their tales are not for the faint of heart. Old Thomas, they called him, a man of few words but many stories, etched into the lines of his weathered face. Keeper of the North Point light for more years than anyone cared to remember. His presence was as constant as the tides, a guardian of the night. He knew the sea like a lover, its every mood and murmur, its whispers and roars. The ocean was his companion, his confidant. But old Thomas was gone now, lost to a rogue wave one stormy night. The sea, his lifelong friend, had claimed him in a final, tragic embrace. Yet some whispered that his light still shone, a beacon of hope and mystery guiding those who dared to venture near. Fishermen returning under a blood-red dawn spoke of seeing it, a light that shouldn't be there, a ghostly glow in the early morning mist, a figure silhouetted in the lantern room, tall and unmoving, just as old Thomas always stood, a silent sentinel watching over the waves. Others told of hearing the mournful groan of the lighthouse's horn when no fog lay upon the water, a sound like a lonely lament, a cry from the past echoing through the present. The new keeper, a young man with eyes yet untouched by the sea's sorrow, scoffed at the stories. He dismissed them as old sailors' tales, relics of a bygone era. But as weeks turned into months, he too began to notice subtle signs, small anomalies that defied explanation. The lantern room door, left securely bolted, found mysteriously ajar, an unsettling reminder that he was not alone. Footprints in the dust on the spiral stairs leading up to the lamp itself, though he was the only soul for miles. The past and present intertwined, a legacy that refused to fade. The Devil's Elbow, they called the stretch of coastline south of the harbor. It was a name that sent shivers down the spines of even the most seasoned sailors. Treacherous reefs lay hidden beneath the waves, waiting to tear the heart out of any ship that strayed too close. Many a vessel had met its end here, its remains scattered across the ocean floor. And at the edge of the world, perched precariously on a jagged spine of rock, stood the Iron Maiden light. It was a solitary sentinel, its beam cutting through the darkest of nights. It was said that a curse lay upon the Iron Maiden, a curse that no one could explain, but everyone feared. Every year on the anniversary of a terrible shipwreck, the light would fail. The very beacon meant to save lives would betray them. Just as the clock struck midnight, the beacon that guided sailors away from their doom would flicker and die, plunging the coastline into impenetrable darkness. It was as if the night itself conspired against them. Sailors whispered of a spectral ship that sailed on those nights, a ship that seemed to be searching for something or someone. A ghostly schooner, sails tattered and torn, that appeared out of the fog banks as if in answer to the extinguished light. Its presence was an omen, a harbinger of doom. Some swore they could hear the cries of the drowned echoing across the water, beckoning them closer to the jagged teeth of the reef. These voices, filled with sorrow and despair, were a chilling reminder of the lives lost to the sea's unforgiving embrace. Captain Elias Croft, a man hardened by years at sea, scoffed at such tales. He had heard countless stories of ghost ships and cursed waters, but he never believed a word of it. Superstition, he called it. Nothing more than the ramblings of frightened sailors. To him, the sea was a place of logic and skill, not of myths and legends. But on the night the light died, Captain Croft found himself staring into the face of fear. The storm was unlike any he had ever encountered. His ship, the Sea Serpent, was caught in a sudden squall off the Devil's Elbow. The waves towered over them, threatening to swallow the ship whole. Rain lashed down, blinding the crew, the wind howling like a banshee in the rigging. The Sea Serpent groaned under the strain. And then, the darkness. The Iron Maiden's light, their only salvation, vanished. The sea became an abyss, swallowing all hope. Panic gripped the crew as the Sea Serpent was tossed about like a toy in a bathtub. Men shouted orders, but their voices were lost in the storm. Then through the driving rain came a sound that chilled Captain Croft to the bone. It was a sound he had hoped never to hear. The mournful toll of a ship's bell close by, seemingly aboard the Sea Serpent itself. It was as if the sea was calling them to their doom. The fog was its element, a thick, cloying blanket that rolled in from the depths, swallowing the world whole. It was in these fogs, the locals said, that the silent Sentinel appeared. No chart marked its location, no map hinted at its existence. It was a lighthouse born of the mist, a phantom light that beckoned sailors to their doom. They would see it, a shimmering beacon in the swirling grey, promising safety, offering hope. But the silent Sentinel was a cruel mistress. She lured ships towards her closer and closer, until the fog parted to reveal not salvation but jagged cliffs and churning surf. Countless vessels had met their end, dashed upon the rocks, their cries for mercy swallowed by the hungry sea. Young Caleb, barely a man, found himself at the helm of his father's fishing boat. A thick fog had descended, turning the familiar coastline into a labyrinth of grey. Lost and disoriented, Caleb strained his eyes, searching for any sign of land, any glimmer of hope. And then he saw it. A light, faint at first, then growing stronger, cutting through the swirling mist like a beacon of salvation. Relief washed over Caleb. He steered towards the light, his heart pounding with hope. But as he drew closer, a sense of unease settled upon him. Something wasn't right. The light seemed to shift and waver, its intensity fluctuating strangely, and the air, it grew colder, heavy with a chilling dampness that seemed to seep into Caleb's very bones. The siren's call. He could hear it now, a low hum that seemed to vibrate through the very fabric of the boat. A haunting, mournful sound, like the cry of a lost soul. Fear tightened its grip on Caleb's chest. He knew with a certainty that defied logic that he shouldn't be here, that this light was not what it seemed. He tried to turn the wheel, to steer the boat away from the beckoning glow, but it was no use. The wheel was locked, frozen in place. The boat, caught in some unseen current, continued its inexorable journey towards the heart of the fog. The lights that guard the shore. 3 lighthouses. 3 tales of terror. The lights that guard the shore, they called them. Whispers passed from sailor to sailor. Warnings whispered in hushed tones in waterfront taverns. Beware the light that shines when no storm threatens, for it is the lonely vigil of old Thomas forever bound to his post. Curse the night the light dies, for it is the night the Iron Maiden claims her due, and the spectral ship sails forth to claim more souls. And pray you never see the silent Sentinel, for she is the harbinger of doom, luring the unwary to their watery graves. Whispers of the deep. The sea is a jealous mistress. She holds her secrets close, guarded by the wind and the waves. But sometimes on the darkest of nights, when the fog rolls in like a shroud, and the only sound is the mournful cry of the gulls, the sea whispers her secrets to those who dare to listen. Tales of phantom lights and ghostly ships, of lost souls and haunted shores. These are the stories of the sea, passed down through generations, a chilling reminder that there are some places where man was not meant to tread, some secrets best left undisturbed. What lies beyond the light? So the next time you find yourself walking along the shore, the wind whipping your hair and the salt spray stinging your face, listen closely. You might hear them, the whispers of the deep. And when you gaze out at the vast expanse of the ocean and see the lonely lights winking in the distance, remember the stories, remember the lights that guard the shore, and ask yourself, what lies beyond their eerie glow?